It's the dreamscape.
Welcome back, dreamers, to Indie Synergy Exchange, your podcast for all things indie art and creation. I'm your host, Tanner Giese, also known as Number 2 Pencil Man and owner of Tanner's Tales Entertainment. And joining me tonight, I have my lovely co-host. We have Lamona Bonneray, talented poet, author, and potentially musician soon. And then we also have Rachel, aka Andromeda the Artist, talented musician, poet, writer as well, and multi-creative. We're all multi-creatives. And tonight we have a special guest. We have JJ. I always forget to pull up the media board.
Oh my goodness.
It's all right. It's all right. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one.
You just need to train me, and I'll do it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's
You get so into it.
It's on this side of the thing.
Yeah.
It's all right. It stays in. We keep it real in this podcast. We are excited to have JJ, and we'll turn it over to her in just a moment. Before we do, amidst the blunders and all the laughs, audience laughs, and also Lamona laughs, I'm going to just do all the promo stuff, get that out of the way. So if you guys like our podcast, Indie Synergy Exchange, this is, I think, episode 22. So we've done 21 other episodes. Well, I guess 22 other episodes if you count episode 0. And most of those have also featured amazing, talented creators. So definitely be sure to go check that out. We have had a diverse variety of indie creators on the show. We've had wrestlers, clowns, doctors of psychology, comic book authors, writers, poets, musicians, and small businesses. If you can do it indie, we've had it on the show and we'll continue to have it on the show. So thank you guys for supporting this podcast. If you guys are liking it, please interact with the videos, subscribe to the channel, help us build this platform up so that we can help other indie creators get into the spotlight. Because we know how hard that can be against the mainstream and everything, so we're here to band together and make it a little bit easier. So yeah, definitely consider supporting the channel. And if you are an indie creator of any kind, you want to be on the podcast, reach out. We'll get you scheduled and we'll do all the fun stuff. Yes, so that is my fun little spiel there. Without further ado, we have a special guest. I'm going to turn it over to her. JJ, please introduce yourself and tell us what you do. Yeah.
Hello. Okay, well, I'm JJ, and I'm originally from northwestern New Jersey, and I am a proud Gen Xer. I'm an artist. I've been an artist my whole life. I work in a lot of different mediums, but more recently, in the last, 8 or 9 years, I've been really focused on metalsmithing, which is jewelry making or jewelry art. I'm not a commercial jeweler. I'm more of a jewelry artist. It's big, wacky, crazy stuff, really big. So, but I also enjoy painting and drawing and collage work. I've done a lot of collage work and some sculpture, and it's like anything I could get my hands on, I'm getting into it. So yeah. And I have my own brand. It's Reine De Blanc brand. And I sell my jewelry and some of my art prints on there, as well as my upcoming book. I'm now writing a book, and I'm hoping to have it out in November. So that's on there for pre-order. And I'm also the founder of the Muse Memorandum, which is an artist feature project to help support other artists and just get them a little more visibility and a little bit more community going. So I've been doing that for the past 2 years. So that's my brief nutshell
That
right
is
now.
that is quite a variety of art, and we love it. That is incredible. So, how did it all start for you? What did it start with?
Um, well, I don't remember when I was a kid. I was very young. There's pictures of me drawing with crayons at the kitchen table, probably at the age of 4 or 5. I mean, I'm sure I did like, coloring books and things like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I started with that, and I was very fortunate. My family was really supportive of all my creative stuff, so I got a bunch of different supplies from my parents and my grandparents. In particular, my dad's mother, she was an artist too. So I got
Hmm.
a lot of her really, like, really nice quality pastels and things like that I got from her. And yeah, so it basically, I think, started with drawing. And as I got older, in my teens, I think around the age of 15, I started getting interested in beadwork.
Wow.
So I got into that. And when I was about 16, my dad showed me how to make a ring out of a coin in the garage. It was something he learned in like Boy Scouts or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought that was the coolest thing, that you could take a quarter and just hammer it all the way around and have it spread out, and then you could drill a hole and you
Wow.
keep working at it until it turns into a ring. So that was exciting for me. And in high school, I got into photography. They had a really
Mm-hmm.
good dark room set up there, and they had black and white photography and color. So I had that going on. I started getting into that, and then I was looking at different schools to go to. When I ended up going to Savannah College of Art and Design in Georgia, and my major was photography. But when I got there, digital was just starting to come around, and I didn't understand it. I was like really into,
Mm.
the manual settings on cameras and doing the actual prints in the dark room. And I really liked how you can manipulate things like that. And so when I got to art school and they had this brand new, beautiful digital facility, I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't think I want to do this. Like, I just wasn't into the digital thing then.
Mm.
And I took my first jewelry class. Um, it was my freshman year. I think it was in the first semester, and that was it for me. Like, I just loved it. I loved making something amazing and beautiful from nothing, basically, like just flat sheet metal.
Mhm.
You gotta cut it out with a little tiny jeweler saw, and you just make every little piece by hand. And
Wow.
um, I really liked working with fire,
Yeah.
which I would think, most people would be terrified. And I was very nervous starting out,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a very good professor, and she just made everything fun, and uh, just had a relaxed way of doing things. So getting into using the blowtorches was way easier than I thought it would be, and I became more comfortable with that. And so that was it for me. I got really into the jewelry making, and it's been on and off for years. I had a lot of things happen in life and having to work various jobs, and
Mm-hmm.
but I got back into it full time. I decided in 2016, after a terrible job in New York City, one of many, but I decided that was it. I'm not working for anybody else anymore, and just started up doing my own thing. And it was really hard at first. I wasn't able to completely, I had to keep taking like little part time jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started doing the artisan markets in New York City,
Hmm.
and I eventually got myself into one of the best markets there down on Prince Street. It's the
Yeah.
Nolita market, and I sold my stuff there for a couple of years. And well, it's a long story. I mean, I was disabled. I had a lot of physical
Mm.
issues going on for me, and it was very hard for me to continue to work. I was just working and working and working myself
Mhm.
into the ground for years with the other jobs, and then trying to do my own thing. And so when I did get approved for disability at that time, and I left. I was just like, that's it.
Yeah.
I can't kill myself anymore. And it was such a wonderful thing for me. It was such a blessing to finally not have to kill myself just to be alive and to pay bills and stuff. So I ended up getting out of New York and going up to Cape Cod, which is a whole nother story that we don't have time for. But but I lived there. I got there just before COVID started, and I lived there for 2.5 years on a mini farm,
Oh,
and
wow.
was able to just really focus on my work. So I've been doing it ever since, full time.
Wow, that's an
So,
incredible story.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Thanks.
inspired already.
It feels very adventurous. I mean, I think about like, I don't know, traveling through the technology and the eras of technology. You're talking about photography, and I grew up, of course, with digital, but when I was in high school, they had film photography. And I can appreciate what you were saying about film in that like you do have this wonderful manual hands-on approach, and you can manipulate things, and it's much more, I don't know, it's of course it's more hands-on, and it just feels more organic that way because you're working with light and you're working with chemicals and you're working with I guess more of what's on earth than I guess the digital felt for me. And
Yeah,
yeah, and
Mhm.
it feels like to kind of connect that back to your jewelry, that as well is kind of a hands-on medium,
it's
where you're
very hands on.
very,
Very.
very much manipulating the metals. Do you have do you have to do that in like a separate room, like a shop, or can you just do that anywhere in your house, or how does that work?
I do it right back there.
Awesome.
um,
Oh,
there's a perfect little sort of, it's not an alcove, but it's a little side area off the kitchen. And normally I would probably do it in the garage, but it's been 115 degrees right now, and it continues on.
yikes.
And when I moved out here and I stayed with my folks temporarily before I found this place, I had to work in the garage, and they don't have air conditioning, so it was not happening. So I'm very grateful to have the space here. It just works out for me. I have another room I could put that stuff in, but there's no carpet, and it's close to the kitchen sink on the other side of the counter, so I need to use a lot of water. I need to rinse things off and clean them and just have access to the water and paper towels and all kinds of stuff. So it just really works out for me to be close to the kitchen.
Hmm.
And it's kind of funny because I've mostly worked that way all these years. Like I lived in this tiny studio apartment up in Nyack, New York, right on the Hudson River. And my apartment was less than 300 square feet.
Wow.
And I worked in my kitchen there.
Wow.
Mm.
So I just, wherever there's good ventilation. I've got ceiling fans and everything here. As long as there's good ventilation and I have what I need with the water and all that, it could be anywhere. So it's been really great for me because I've lived a lot of places now. I've moved so many times I've lost count, and I've lived in I think 8 states now. And
Wow.
so for me, the jewelry, it's very portable, so I can pretty much work anywhere.
Hmm.
Because the blowtorches, I'm people can do things how they do them, and a lot of metalsmiths like to use the big tanks and have
Mhm.
all this stuff, and I'm very minimal, and I have always used the Bernzomatic disposable, like refillable little propane tanks that you can get at any hardware store. and they work for me. And so I'm able to pack up my stuff and move around and set up in a few days, and I'm ready to go.
Hmm. That's
That's
awesome.
cool.
Seems very
Um,
practical.
yeah, I actually have a question because I
Sure.
I know a little bit about jewelry making and some of the materials. I mean, I dabbled with it a little bit. I'm not gonna go into that quite yet. I'm just curious to know, like, what kind of materials do you typically use when you are crafting your jewelry? Do you use recycled materials? Do you get like sheets of metal to kind of cut out, and or do you use like metal clays? Because I know that those are also a thing.
I have not used any metal clay, although it interests me a little bit. I kind of
I
poked
do. I
around.
have used that before.
Did it turn out good for you?
I mean, I thought it was fun. So this is I'll go into it a little bit. So I
Sure.
did dabble. I saw it. I found it on like Facebook one time back when I was in high school. I'm like, oh, this is fun. Metal clay, and you can like use a blowtorch when it heats up and it solidifies. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So I got like some silver clay, I think, and I made like two pins for my ex at the time. One was like a butterfly pin, and one was like a little heart shaped thing. And I really enjoyed it. It was an interesting medium to work with, but like when you fire it up, that's when it like solidifies and actually like turns more into the solid metal. So it's a really interesting medium, and I've actually been itching to kind of start doing it again because it was a fun thing. I got to use a blowtorch on it. I'm like, that's fun. So I can relate to you with the blowtorch. I'm like, it was a fun little disposable blowtorch. I'm like, I should do that again. But yeah, it was like working with clay. It's a little bit more stiff than regular clay
I would
because it's got like the
imagine.
metal in it, but it wasn't too bad to work with overall.
Interesting. Well, I'll consider it still. But for me, I pretty much use all kinds of sheet metal and like sterling silver
Mhm.
and copper, brass, and bronze. I don't use any gold.
Hmm.
Mm,
It's just too expensive for one thing for
yeah.
me. And you need other equipment for that as well. So I just stick to what works for me, which is all those other metals. And I do use recycled. I try to recycle whatever scraps I have with, especially with the silvers. It's even now, I mean, that's going up in price
Hmm.
too. I think it's like $36 an ounce right now. It was $5 an ounce when I started doing jewelry. And
Oh.
even when I lived in New York before I moved, I think it was as low as like 14 an ounce or something. So it's, the price has gone way up. So I'm really conscientious about trying to
Hmm.
use all of it, repurpose it into something cool and funky if it's just little scraps of stuff. And I save all the scraps from pretty much all the metal I cut out because you never know when you're going to need that tiny little weird piece that's going to work for something. So it's kind of annoying because I've got all these sharp things in little plastic bags, but they come in handy down the road, so I keep them.
That's
Do
cool.
you use like a lot of stones in your jewelry?
Yeah.
I love stones, and I just would love to hear you talk about that a little bit. Like, I mean, it seems like stones have such a connection to different people for different reasons, the colors and meanings behind them. Do you find a lot of purpose behind the stones, or are you just choosing stuff that you like, or what's?
Um, it's funny because I have had people ask me, I had people ask me, like, put me on the spot. What is the metaphysical property of, whatever, sapphire or something? And
Mhm.
I know some of them. I do know quite a bit after, because I need to put them on my website now because I know a lot of people want to know what the significance is energetically and all of that stuff. So I've learned, and I've got some really good books, very good books that go into really rare stuff too and the meanings behind those. So they come in handy sometimes. But for me, it's more of a color. It can be a lot of things. It can be
Right.
color, and it could be, some of them are faceted. So some of it, the way the light hits on a stone interests me. I do get some kind of feeling off of them. I wouldn't say that, oh my gosh, it's connecting to my heart chakra or something like that. I just can't. I mean, I'm into a lot of metaphysical stuff and some, I don't know what you would call it. I mean, I would say occult things, but people have
Hmm.
such a bad, it has a bad connotation still for people thinking I'm doing witchcraft or
Hmm.
Satan worship, and that's not happening. I'm not doing any of that stuff, but I do have an interest in the things that are hidden and
Mm-hmm.
obscure, and that's really what occult is about. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I have some interest in spirituality and things like that, and I think the stones, they do have their own kind of resonance and energy coming off of them. So sometimes I have so many stones now. I have a ridiculous amount of stones, and I'm about to get more. It's kind of crazy, but now I just kind of, I'll look through them. I see something, and then suddenly I get this idea in my head. I'll see a shape or something that it should be set into. So I don't know if
Mm,
that really answers the question, but I just have
definitely.
a natural, like, I've been collecting stones since I was a child, also. I mean, I had stones put in my little crayon container that I had. So I've been collecting them my whole life. And I just have like a sort of intuitive draw to them, I guess.
Hmm.
That's Well, you're an artist. You're looking at it from the aesthetic standpoint. You know, you look at where the light hits, how it connects with this metal or whatever else, and it does make me think of your painting too. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Like, what kind of paint are you using? You said you draw. Like, what are the materials that you use? What do you like to draw and paint?
I like watercolor and inks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like paper. I actually did some paper making years ago too.
Wow.
So, yeah, I kind of dabbled in most of everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I like a very tactile piece of paper, and watercolor papers kind of lend themselves to that. They have different
Hmm.
finishes and thicknesses and all of that stuff. So I like to do a lot of abstract work where I completely wet the paper down and then drip the paint and the ink on there and try to form something out of it instead of it just being a blob. So I like to do that. I like to do sketching and ink or colored pencils or pastel pencils.
Mm,
And I really like collage.
yes.
Collage has been a big part of my life for years now. I started doing it, I think I lived in Seattle for a while. Um, I think I moved there in 95. I'm trying to
Wow.
remember. I don't know. And at the time, I was dating a cartoonist, and so I got really into doing that kind of stuff and doing my own zines and things like that. But then I started doing dream journals because I have a lot of crazy dreams, and drawing and stuff just wasn't doing it for me to try to kind of recreate what I was seeing in my dreams on paper. So I started doing
Mm.
collage work. So I've been doing that for years, and I use a lot of magazine paper cutouts
Mm-hmm.
and recycled stuff, just all kinds of. And then I'll do like mixed media. I'll mix paint and some of the magazine cutouts. And I've used like meteorite dust and glitter and just whatever makes it work for me to try to convey something that's in my head.
Interesting. I'd like to see some of those, the
I was gonna,
collages.
yeah, I would also like to see some.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
super curious.
no pressure, but I'm just fascinated by that.
I think there might be there might still be some prints on my website, prints of the
Yeah, I'll pull
collages.
the website up
Yeah,
quick.
I did a series of greeting cards, like note cards,
Yeah.
and some prints, but it was getting a little tedious, so I removed some of them. I
Hmm.
have a whole long list on this side there, but there on the sidebar,
The sidebar to the
Oh, there we
if
left.
go.
you click on, yeah, There you
There
go.
we go. Sorry, I was about to get the whole store.
That's
Like,
okay. So the second one there, that's one of them.
oh,
I want to see that.
oh, come on.
I mean, just looking at it from the small image, I love those colors so much.
Yeah, it's funny because I wear a lot of black, but I really love color. So I try to do my home is very colorful, and my artwork can be very colorful.
Yeah, that's spectacular. Can you describe what was going on in your dream or in your thoughts when you created this?
Sorry, my cat is being.
Oh, hi.
You gonna come up here? Okay.
She's thinking about it.
Well, it's interesting because when I was doing these, I had a whole series of this type of thing where I was using these kind of concentric circle things going on and
Yeah.
sort of looked like clock gears. That was mostly during the time where I started having seizures and I started having severe migraines and then I started having seizures. And when I had the seizures, they're called focal aware. So you're awake and you're aware that you're having it. And you don't. For me, fortunately, I didn't wasn't dropping to the ground. It wasn't like a grand mal seizure, but it was where I became paralyzed and I would see things. I would see geometric patterns and I would hear sounds and music and chatter. And my left side would go completely numb, paralyzed, so I couldn't move, but I could sometimes still speak to people. But anyway, I think that's kind of what I was seeing. Some of these are what I was seeing when I started having the seizures, but I started doing these before it started happening to me.
Huh. That's wild.
Yeah.
That sounds very scary. I'm sorry that happened to you or has happened to you.
Thank you. It was terrifying. It was mostly happening to me at night, though, thankfully, while I was in bed, but it started happening in the daytime. And it happened to me while I was at the market selling my stuff in New York City. And
Crazy.
I would get a little warning before it started happening where everything would go flat in front of me. And it would look like a 2D drawing.
Wow.
Yeah, I would get like weird tingling up my spine, up into my head, and then things would go flat. So I was able to tell somebody, I'm going to have a seizure. So they were able to take me somewhere safe. But yeah, it happened a couple times during the day. But I would see a lot of these weird patterns.
Has that contributed to like your perspective on the mind or the spiritual world? Has it kind of shifted your perspective, or is it just kind of its own thing?
It kind of has, I would say. I mean, for me, I've had some really unusual experiences in my life.
Yeah.
My whole life, especially starting with my dream state. And so that definitely shifted my perspective on a lot of things in this world. And with the seizures and that stuff, I definitely started having. What was I going to say now? I was totally blanked out. I'm sorry. Because I was like going back in my mind. But when I look back at them, like, fortunately, I'm not having them anymore.
Good.
For a little while now, a couple years, maybe 3-4 years. And thankfully, not too many migraines either. But I've realized, I feel like I was getting sort of downloaded with information and it was just too shocking for my body. So that's the perspective I have now. I don't know what it all really means, but I definitely think that's what was happening to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fascinating. I always like to ask, what you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but like, what is your sense of the spiritual realm? Like, do you believe in a spiritual purpose, or do you have any thoughts on that you'd like to share?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'll answer it. I'll do my best. Yeah, I think I we're living in a place that we just we don't understand it. We don't
Hmm.
understand a fraction of what's happening around us, especially when you read that we, I think, only see like a fraction of what's really visible in different types of light.
Yeah, it's wild.
And I mean, we're seeing it now in the news and everything with different UAPs, UFOs, orbs, all of that stuff going on and weird things happening. And I don't think that I think those things have always been there.
Hmm.
I just don't think we were able to see them before. And I think maybe we're moving into a different spectrum where we're able to see them and they're kind of bleeding through for us.
Yeah.
And as far as like spirits, I think that we're in a soup of all kinds of spirits and entities and whatever all around us and probably right next to us in a different, maybe just on the other side of the glass, so to
Totally.
speak. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
Spiritual
how I
soup.
feel about it.
It's such a
I
great
agree.
concept.
Yeah, it really is. I totally agree. And I mean, I love to ask artists this question just because I feel like artists have such an open mind and they're more receptive to this
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
energy.
totally.
You know, artists are so sensitive to the energy around them, and they usually have so much insight. I feel like most people miss and don't like to talk about or talk about in an unconventional way. And
Yeah. And
I,
also, a lot of us, yes, we do. A lot of us have had to work odd jobs and just, regular jobs to keep going while we do our own art. But I think a lot of us have had pockets of time where we're able to observe things longer than other people that are distracted by the go, go, go all the time of the 9 to 5
Mm.
and all the other stuff. That's
absolutely.
something I've come to realize as I've gotten older. I think that a lot of society is so busy just trying to survive,
Hmm.
to pay the bills, to take care of family, and pay off debt and all the stuff that they are so distracted that they don't. It's not their fault necessarily. It's just they don't
Mhm.
have the time or the wherewithal to look a little deeper into things because they're just so focused on just surviving.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Although we could say the same about artists too, but I
Yeah.
do think that we do have that openness and that a little bit of a different outlook and
Yeah.
viewpoints on the world.
Totally.
I,
Yeah.
I really like what you just said there. I mean, especially more so recently, I've been feeling dragged down by the survival games, I'll call it, of the 9 to 5s lately. And I think back to times where I had like a whole year to just kind of sit and be, and how productive I was, and how I felt more fulfilled. I was able to take in things, learn, and grow. And it's like, man, I long for that as an artist now, like starting to get to that point where I started this business and started creating again. Like I started reviving my YouTube channel. It's like I just was off work for 5 straight days and I feel like I was so productive. Like I was able to multitask. I was able to spend time with my son, have like amazing, more fulfilling time with him. But then I was also able to produce more freely than I have in a long time, and it's so refreshing. And like just thinking back about all the different opportunities in my life where I've had those moments of rest, it's like those were the biggest like shifts in everything that I did. Like every time I had one of those breaks, something shifted, and I like almost leveled up and was able to get closer to what I would call like my destiny, my spiritual, like started to see it more clearly. And so yeah, I'm just blown away that other people are also experiencing that, and also like artists too. Like that is such a impactful and pivotal, powerful thing. And so yeah, that it just resonates with me. I wanted to say because I'm kind of in that now. Like
Cool.
I'm starting to get dragged down so much by my 9 to 5, and normally when this happens and I feel a shift coming, I'm like, all right, I'm shifting again. I hope it's going to be into a time where I get to kind of sit back and observe and create. That's what my heart longs for right now. And also the fact that you're out there being able to do that like full time is very inspirational to me. So I just wanted to say that too.
Thank you.
Um,
It has not been easy, but I am probably crazy, and I just decided to keep going. I mean, I was literally on the edge of complete collapse in my life,
mm,
financially, physically. I was in and out of the hospital, having
it's crazy.
insane. My blood pressure was through the roof. My heart, I
Oh,
was
wow.
like gonna, I don't even know what. And yeah, I thankfully was able to get the disability at that time, but it was what I needed for
Yeah.
my
Mhm.
whole system to just calm down, because
Yes.
I was just going and going and going for so many years, and my whole body was just getting worse and worse. I was having more and more
Mm,
autoimmune issues and all kinds of problems. And I finally got that chance to decompress. And when I moved to Cape Cod, there's nobody there in the winter, and that was
mm,
the thing. I ended up getting very lucky, meeting some people who had an Airbnb, and them offering me to stay there in one of the apartments for the winter. It was supposed to be just 6 months, and winter's very quiet. Like
Yeah.
there's
mm,
only I think 2,000 people in the whole town where I was, and it just gave me the time to it took me forever. It took me forever to relax and to
mm,
decompress after living in New York City and working and just go, go, go for so many years. And so I think it took me at least several months for my
mhm,
system to calm down. And then I'm like, I'm lucky. I'm very fortunate to have been given that whole situation, because I don't know that a lot of people I know there's a lot of people out there like me who
mhm.
have all these issues, and they just don't get the time
Yeah.
to heal. And I'm
Hmm.
not completely healed, but I'm feeling way better than I
Yeah.
was. Like I've gotten off of all the prescriptions and everything,
Good.
because I was able to just rest and to heal and to have the time to
Mhm,
think and work through things. So there's something to be said about that. I know we can't all. I know
mhm,
everybody's got to work and make a living and all that, but I think there's ways to reconfigure your time. Sometimes even to just get 20 minutes to yourself, or you go for a quick walk. Getting out in nature, going for walks is such a big deal, at least for me.
yeah.
I think it's really important to clear your headspace and
Hmm.
just try to revitalize something in yourself to have some creativity.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
to keep that creative spark alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of ironic how, I mean, at least for me in my experience, it feels like the more you're trying to be practical and the more you're trying to survive, so to speak, is it's almost the opposite happens for some people. For me, that's how it just wasn't working when I was in college and just trying to be like to just run it out and to be, a journalist. And I went to school for that just because that was the practical path as a writer. And it was just, it was not what ended up being healthy for me. And it's just too much on the go, too much active, activity, so much stress and so much negativity and sadness when you're exposed to that constantly. And I think maybe it's time for our society and people as a whole to reassess, is there a better way to survive and to be practical, but can we kind of find a way that is more healthful for everybody?
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah, I agree. I think where we are now, people just don't have. I feel like we're in a system that's designed for us to fail.
Yes.
And we have to somehow find
Absolutely.
the balance so
Yeah.
that we don't run ourselves into the ground, and also to be forgiving of ourselves. We
Yeah.
are so hard on ourselves.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
We're hard
think.
on ourselves. Society's hard on us. There's a lot of expectations and projections.
Hmm.
And if you can find it in yourself to try to block out all that toxic chatter,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think you can find some peace within yourself and be able to create stuff. It's very
Mhm.
hard. It
Yeah.
really is. And just to be open to doing something else, like you said, it was too much on you. I
Hmm.
think it's good if we are able to accept that and say, hey, this just isn't working for me. It's killing me. I really need to do something else. But a lot of people are really afraid of change because
Yeah.
it's so unknown, And I think people stay stuck in what they're doing because of that fear.
Yes.
Like, at least
Mhm.
the job is crap and the way it is. And if you try to decide to do something else, you could be like, oh my gosh, I don't know, am I going to make it? Can I pay the bills? Can I survive? So it holds a lot of people back.
Yeah. It really
Mhm.
does. I think we are kind of programmed to think in a very straightforward, linear kind of way instead of a more abstract way. And I've studied a lot of meditation, and there's a lot of language about alpha, gamma, theta waves of your brain, and I feel like even just that 5-minute meditation that you might do once or twice a day can reprogram everything for you in your perspective and maybe just give you a little mental break to think outside the box and say, actually, maybe there's a way to do this, or maybe I can try to shift in this direction, or this isn't working, this is not what I like. And you reconnect with yourself and you go into your deeper brain and see new possibilities, I think, that weren't there before.
Yeah, it's really important to just take some time for yourself.
Yeah.
We're also conditioned to do something for somebody else.
Yes,
What about
definitely.
us? you know
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's
Um,
a great time to be alive, though. I
yeah,
think
well,
It's
for sure.
certainly interesting, that's for sure.
I
I think a lot of
I
people are
know.
waking up to it.
Yeah.
JG, I want to ask this question because you asked me this question when you interviewed me. What is your perspective on AI right now in terms of the arts?
I think we're in really troubled waters with that. Unfortunately, it can be a very good, useful tool
Mm-hmm.
for sort of remedial tasks,
Right.
drudgery work that we don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but it concerns me quite a bit. I mean, the level that we're at now, which has happened so rapidly, even just over
Hmm.
this last year. I don't know if you've seen those commercials, like where the AI is a prompt and
Yeah.
they're doing a whole thing and it looks like real people and they're like, I'm not real. And
Right.
Yeah.
it's getting very hard to discern. There's been deep fake videos going on for years now and they've only gotten better. So just that alone, it's very it's something to be concerned about. And I'm hoping that we're going to somehow come together as a society and figure out where we draw the line with using AI,
Yeah.
because creative folks like us, especially if you're in music and any kind of visual arts,
Mm-hmm.
it can be difficult for anyone to really discern or even care that it's not made by a real artist if AI makes some kind of. I think you guys said somebody was talking about where someone won a photography contest, like it was
Yes.
Hmm.
AI, but the person did a real video or a real
Yes.
picture, and that's wonderful. I thought that was great that people still chose the authentic piece
Yeah.
as opposed to an AI
Mm-hmm.
creation. But yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping that we're going to come up with some way to put a stop to the overuse of certain things, or even the beginning of the use of anything.
Absolutely.
But I do think it can be a good tool for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just got to find that line somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, it's you think AI should be serving us instead of obliterating us and
Right.
killing our souls in the process. And I think
Yeah.
there's danger in AI because of the
Put my
Limona. Do you have something to say?
put my hand down.
Sorry.
I was just waiting for a good break in the
Oh, no,
conversation.
just go. You talk. Just go. Listen up.
Because no, I was just so enjoying all of the thoughts, really, truly. I didn't want to interrupt. I just want when at some point before we end here, I just wanted to hear more about your book. I'm really curious.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
I was thinking about too.
Oh boy, it's been difficult because it's my first book. I really liked writing when I was younger, and
Mm-hmm.
I like it now. It's just harder for me because my vision's not great, and I put my glasses on, and then my eyes get so tired, so it's hard for me to read and it's hard for me to write, and but I'm enjoying it. And the book it's called Backwards Time, and it's I originally created it to be a memoir because I've got such crazy stories. In my whole adult life, I've been hearing people say, you should write a book. And for some reason, it came up into my mind again the one day. And I went to have dinner with my folks and I told them a story from years ago, something they didn't know about. And my mom said, you should write a book. And I was like, okay, I'll write this book because I was already thinking of it. And then she said, and it was an idea that just kept coming up. So the book it's supposed to be a memoir, but I'm feeling like it might be a little more of a, what do you call it? An auto fiction. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like it won't be a lot of fiction, but I do have to fictionalize some of the names and events
Mm-hmm.
just for legal reasons and to protect other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the book itself is kind of a journey through my whole life with all the weirdness, paranormal, and just experiences I've had living all over the place, and it's basically me thinking about how all of the strange things in my life have sort of culminated to where I am now, to who I've become and what I'm doing now, I guess. I don't know if that
That's
helps.
cool.
I don't want to go into it too much because I don't want to put too much out there, but that's kind of the gist of it.
I'm super interested. Like, yeah, I'd love to read it. That sounds so cool.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm very excited to read that.
Thank you. I'm excited. It feels kind of overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten the sort of the outline together with the chapters, and I've started writing pieces of the chapters. But I might have to cut back on some chapters. I might actually have to do a second book, which I might call Forwards Time, but we'll see.
Nice.
But Backwards Time is, well, basically because it's looking back in time, for one thing, in my life. And then the name of my brand, the Reine De Blanc, it means the White Queen or the Queen of White, which was a character in the Looking Glass.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a tie to that too, because I always feel like I'm living out of time or living a backwards time, or just like time is not linear for me.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a play on that too with the title.
Yeah. Wow, that's really cool. I love Through the Looking Glass and Alice in Wonderland. I absolutely love those books, but it has me very intrigued. And you seem like you're a very interesting person that has very fascinating perspective on not just time, but just life in general, people, and supernatural things, and all of the above. So that it really does make me excited to read what you
Yeah.
write, what you have to say.
Thank you. I'm
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to be perfect. I'm hoping that I'll get somebody to read it, to edit, to help. I mean, I'm gonna probably proofread it like 5 million times and
Oh,
cut
goodness
things out,
gracious.
but I'm
She can edit.
hoping.
Put my hands out.
I volunteer her.
You want to
Oh
edit
my
my
goodness.
book?
She's good at editing.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
You went
pretty.
to college for writing
Yeah,
in English.
yes. I don't have any like technical professional experience with it.
Actually, your dad's book.
Well, I did edit a book for someone who published it. I did actually. Yeah, that was fun. A family member, but yeah, it's something I just really enjoy doing.
You edited my
That's
comic book
about it.
too.
Oh yeah, I edited his comic books.
So
Just like
that's
the grammar
two.
portion because there's the
Still,
art and like the storyline. But
she wants more experience.
All right.
I
Well,
I do.
I'm just
I'll
saying.
consider it. I'm
Good
hoping to
opportunity.
keep. I'm really hoping to keep it under 300 pages. So it
Mm.
shouldn't be. I don't want it to be too much of a read for anybody.
That sounds like a good size.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
for sure.
We'll see. Yeah, I was getting really ambitious with the chapters. I was up to chapter 20, and I was like, I don't think I should go that far because the chapters are, they're gonna have some meat to them. They're not going to be just a couple of pages each. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying
Definitely
to rein myself in a bit.
smart.
That's cool. I'm so excited. I mean, we hardly scratched the surface of your stories, but from the stories that you said, yeah, you have a lot of experience and a lot of things that you could share with the world, and I think it's definitely going to have an impact for sure.
You're like a deep well, and we dropped the pebble in, and we have not gotten to the bottom. It is still sinking.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, just even working in New York City for years is a whole thing unto itself. That is working and then living there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Rachel, you can
Yep,
attest to that. I don't know about you guys, but it's an
pretty.
experience, and you have these unusual encounters with people that are great, and it's very interesting. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my first time to New York. I almost got trampled over because some guys were following a topless model.
oh boy.
Yeah. I was trying to admire Times Square. I was looking up at all the billboards, and before I know it, there's a whole crowd of people about to run me over, and they're looking at me like I'm a evil person for standing in their way.
That's like the cardinal rule in New York as a New Yorker. It's like you start to hate tourists that stand in the middle of the
Oh
sidewalk. You
my gosh.
shove past. It's like,
It's my
Yeah.
first time.
It's a wall of people.
yeah, you just start to become a little savage when you live there. At least I did. I lived in
Yeah.
town on 34th Street and Broadway.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, like it's the second busiest pedestrian in terms of pedestrian traffic, second
is.
busiest in Manhattan, and it was just wild. And during Christmas time, you walk out the door and you're just met with like this concrete wall of people. And I would be that person that would just like zoom around, zoom on in the gutter, just like
That
just
was me too. Just zigging and zagging. I think I was in really good shape just from like
quickly.
bobbing and weaving through people all the time.
Yeah, it's like, walking a mile. It'll just take, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. It's like you are a speed walker everywhere. So
Yeah.
but it's so overstimulating and it's so exhausting. Sometimes the pressure is so real, And
Yeah.
I mean, I had so many roommates and you just never feel like you're alone. You never have that space. Even connecting with nature is hard. I mean, it's it's like a different planet.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's
It is.
interesting though because you can find those pockets. Like if you go up to Central Park, or
Mhm.
I lived off of Washington Square
Oh,
before
yeah.
I left, and sometimes you could go to the park there and get some moments of quiet and some nature and a squirrel sitting on you and a pigeon landing on you and all that stuff. At least for me, anyway.
Yep.
So
Did you ever go to the cloisters? I always like the cloisters.
I actually went when I was a kid. I didn't go as an adult, which is something I really wanted to do, but I never got to go. I always loved that place. I went a
Mm-hmm.
couple times, and I went in high school. It took a lot of pictures there for the photography class. It's
Mm-hmm.
a beautiful place.
Yeah, it's amazing. Beautiful. I mean, I think New York is very inspiring, and its way as a writer, it's always given me a lot of inspiration. And but I can also see how, yeah, like getting away from it can be a relief.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, especially if you're there for years
Yeah.
and if you're working high pressure. Well, it's all high pressure. All of it is high pressure to me. But yeah, it can take a long time to just calm your nervous system down
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
Absolutely.
actually enjoy some nature instead of feeling like, oh, I gotta get back. Oh, I can't calm down.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely get that for sure.
Yeah, I want to draw us back here just quickly because I know we're getting close to the hour mark. I'm going to bring up the website once again,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
and I figured now would be a good time to kind of show off some of the jewelry that you make.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you. My cat's
Uh,
being crazy. She sees a bird outside.
Oh my
So
god.
don't mind any weird sounds in the background.
Yeah, if it loads, I don't know. It's
Oh
being
boy.
weird
it's
tonight
it's just it's just too much for the algorithm or whatever.
for
Oh
the internet.
boy.
Yes, for the
I mean, it is a little rainy
internet.
outside too, so I don't know if
That was
it'll
supposed to be a
necessarily work.
compliment, but
Well, that too.
but
I'm
also we'd like to see it. So
I'm being practical minded, like, oh man, what's going on? Will the home screen pop up? Well, the home screen pops up, so we can at least kind of go over the home screen here.
Woo.
So awesome.
So this
mm.
picture here, actually, I'll tell you something funny real quick. Is I was living in a 10 by 11 room in Manhattan at
Huh.
that place off of Washington Square, and
Uh-huh.
I was renting a room from a friend of mine who also works the market, and I had Japanese screens. I didn't have a wall. I didn't have a door. That was my privacy. Were two Japanese screens pushed together in this 10 by 11 room, and I had my mattress on the floor. I worked on the floor with my blowtorch. With
Wow.
I
Oh
did
wow.
pretty much all of my metal smithing in a space that was like 3 by 4 on the floor, and my microwave was my nightstand, and I set it up with a lamp to take these pictures. That was a picture I took while I was living there.
That's
Cool.
that's a really crazy story. Such a typical like New York City. Like, you just get that, yeah, for sure.
It was crazy.
Yeah, those are is that Labrador, right? Maybe.
Labradorite, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, I love that. I love stones. I think they're so mesmerizing and beautiful,
Let's
and
try it again.
Me too.
always like them.
Maybe.
Did you double click or does it not need to be double clicked?
I don't think it needs to be. Oh,
Oh,
it might just not work for me
It could
tonight.
be the browser or something.
Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite stone, JJ?
Well, my top favorite is the Labradorite, and
Mm-hmm.
then um, I like pyrite and
Yes.
tourmaline and
Yep.
this stuff actually, which is pretty rare. It's epidote and magnetite. It's actually magnetic.
Oh wow. I don't
Um,
think I know what that stone is. I don't know if I've ever seen that one before.
it's
Oh, there's a photo gallery.
kind of rare. Um,
Huh.
I don't know. I like all kinds of stones. It changes here
It's
and
hard to.
there,
Mm-hmm.
but that
I,
piece there is actually magnetite. It's magnetic.
that's awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool.
Beautiful. I feel like it's a very like it makes me think of like a queen. I feel like I would wear that and feel very regal and queenly.
Thank you.
Just like a beautiful blue heart or something to me. Like I just I love that. I love you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I've seen. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I haven't seen like an excessive amount of artisan jewelers, but like when I can get to a convention with Tanner, or like if we go to an arts festival, whatever, there's always artisan jewelers at those events. But this is like a different level that I just haven't seen before.
Thank
Like, you
you.
know exactly how to shape things. And
Mhm.
I don't consider, I love jewelry. I don't consider myself, I'm not like super well versed in or anything like that, but I just looking at it, I'm like, oh my goodness, like, how does she know how to put everything together like that? Like, it just
Thank
shows how
you.
much skill it really takes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
definitely.
Well, I've been doing it for about 32 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Not continuously, but fairly. And so I've I've thankfully become comfortable with doing certain things that most people don't want to do. So I don't know. I actually started thinking about how we're so focused on things being perfect,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
and cookie cutter. I'm a Virgo, so I have three Virgos, and Virgos are, I don't think astrology fully plays into everything. I don't put all my eggs in that basket, but I do think it does sort of correspond
Yeah.
with certain things, and
So are you?
perfect Virgos are known for wanting perfection, and for me, I kind of broke that mold. I for myself, because I realized it's more about the process for me, and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying the process and seeing things come about than being so concerned about the end product.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Definitely.
that's where things have arrived at where they are now, I guess.
Definitely. Did you say you're three Virgos? Like three suns?
Virgo sun, Virgo moon, and Virgo and Mercury. But my ascendant is Aquarius, so I feel like my Aquarius has said, no, you don't want perfection.
The balance or something. I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, who really knows? But
I thought about asking you that question earlier, but I wasn't sure. I'm kind of on the same page as you, where it's like I feel like there's maybe something to consider with those things, but then you don't put all the eggs in the basket with it. It's kind of like just there to kind of contemplate. It's very fascinating.
yeah, it's just another tool
Yeah,
to try to
absolutely.
understand yourself and the world.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. There's one other thing I did want to bring up because there is another project that we haven't really talked about yet, and it's kind of how I know I've encountered you first because Rachel was a part of it, but I'll bring it back up here. I
Thank
want to
you.
know because it kind of seems like it's not entirely the same as what we're doing, but similar in a way
It is
with
similar, yeah.
highlighting different indie artists and creators. How did you start this, the Muse Memorandum? How did that come about?
It came about because I started really missing the connections that I had while I was, while I was at the market in New York, and just any of the jobs in New York or anywhere else where you got to have these conversations with different people of different walks of life. And I always really appreciated artists in
Mm-hmm.
particular in those conversations. And so I wanted to, that's when I started doing the video interviews, to be able to have those sort of live conversations. And I wanted to support other artists because I had been through my own hardships so much.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, the really like the small things that people did for me, even like strangers or people I barely knew that did something for me, like a
Mm-hmm.
small gesture or whatever, it kept me going when I was like in complete despair. To have that kind of human kindness and connection.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to bring that to this project to try to boost up other artists. And it's completely free. I never charge anybody anything. And I'll do like either a artist feature or the artist interviews in a magazine sort of Q&A format on there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been doing that. And I also have the Instagram where people can look at all that stuff there. And recently, I wanted to do more. I have a really good friend in Australia who had a really tragic work accident and is disabled now. And I was trying to
Wow.
help her with her fundraiser. So I did that for a while. I was like, why am I not doing this for artists too? So I did one, and it was fairly successful. I mean, I'm not asking huge amounts for the goal. Like this one was for 500. I just
Mhm.
wanted to do something, like a little something to help somebody who needs a little bit of financial help, because as artists we're already struggling a lot. And the recipient of that one needed to have an open heart surgery, and she needed
Okay.
dental work done ahead of time, and she didn't have insurance. So
It's
it felt
crazy.
really nice to be able to help someone and make an impact that way, and sort of pool the resources with the small community on
Yeah.
Instagram and on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do another one probably sometime before the end of the year. I'll probably do at least a couple a year because I really want to do that. I think it is a real, if anything, like a morale booster for people, that there are people out there that actually want to help, that they care.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Look,
that
there's Rachel.
so much. Yeah, there's me. Yeah.
I love those photos. Those were
Thank
so cool.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so
Very
it's really cool, like, to see what you're doing. Sorry, Rachel, I just pulled it up because
No, I don't.
you're on the show.
It's
But it's
my
like
feature.
the format that you do it, it really gives them the spotlight. And I love it because I can see similarities to how we started actually too. It's really encouraging to see somebody who's been doing it a little like for a little bit longer than us, and like just how similar our missions are. We just want to give the spotlight to the artists, help them out, help them get their work out there, help them to enjoy their lives a little bit more. Just anything that we can do to help give a platform to those people and get them out there and hopefully get their work seen by even just a couple more people and
Yeah,
maybe get
because
them
it
more
does help.
opportunities.
It really does help. Like I can tell you, when I decided to do that market in New York City, the good one, the last one, the others were very crappy and difficult, but I knew it was very important for me to do that because of all the people that I would meet. And I still have clients years later now from that market.
Hmm.
And so, with doing something like this, even if you just reach a couple of people here and there that actually pay attention and they want to check out that person's work, and maybe Susan over there needs some help with whatever on her project, and she
Mm-hmm.
sees that Betty over here does this, that, or the other. It does connect people. And the more people you're connected to, the more of a community and a support system you have.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's what we need, honestly. And I believe that the new age is for the artists and creators, and the more we can band together, the more we can actually just change the world with our art and who we are, and let that really become. We talk a lot about why everybody's just trying to survive, but what if we band together and just kick collective survival out, and we just bring in collective thrival, I like to call it, where
Yeah.
everybody gets to thrive and do the things that they love. Because honestly, I think the gifts and talents that people are given, the art that they're passionate to create, the dreams that they have, that's kind of like, in my spiritual sense, I equate that to the little slice of heaven that they have, that they get to bring that reality, that heaven to earth through what they create. And everybody, there are no two similar artists. Like, we do similar things, but they're not exactly the same. And so there are so many different shades of art and creation, and nobody will ever step on another person when they're just expressing their truest form of creation, when they are chasing that dream. In fact, we all would be able to rise together and I think that's the world that we're heading towards. I think even amidst all the chaos, this is the time that we can actually shine through. And I think that why, like what we're doing with you, with the Muse Memorandum, and us with Indie Synergy Exchange, is we're kind of spear pointing it in a way. We're bringing it in, we're banding together, and who knows? I think we actually have a good shot to actually just create one of the biggest communities of independent artists out there and really actually make a lasting impact on the world for the better. And I think at the end of the day, just being able to love another person, to help them, that's really what makes the difference. And that's what goes so against the culture of today, because we're
Yeah,
so just, how can I survive? How can I? It's very, self-centered survival, and we all been programmed that way. It's
right.
not
And
necessarily our fault.
Yeah.
it's very competitive too.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, like it's really nice that we can come on here together. We've got our own projects like this,
Hmm.
but we can just have a nice time talking and sharing ideas.
Yeah.
Whereas I see a lot of content creators and other people, there's a lot of infighting and a lot of
Hmm.
backstabbing and just heavy duty competition. And it just shouldn't be that way. We should just be
Hmm.
able to have a conversation
Yeah.
and respect each other and different viewpoints. People get on social media and they're so quick to put in their 2 cents and hide behind their screen and
Hmm.
just shit on somebody when there's
Yeah.
no reason to. Like, if you don't agree with
Hmm.
it, you don't need to say anything. You don't need to put somebody down.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to have something like this where it isn't competition, because you're right, we all have something to bring to the table.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah,
Love
that's the
that.
true heart of collaboration, and I think more people are starting to see it, and that's why I'm glad that we get to kind of showcase it, all of our stuff together. And yeah, who knows? I think really the new age is indie art creation. I think we're going to send a wave through how society has done things for so long. So that's my little tidbit of encouragement, because it's just like I'm so inspired, like seeing all the work that you've done, and you've done so much, and we haven't even, like I said, like Katie's or Lamona said. See, I have trouble with this.
It's
I'm so
fine.
used to calling her one
It's
thing,
fine.
uh, but like she
You'll
said,
get there.
it's that deep well. We hardly scratch the surface, but just hearing what we have, like I am so inspired and feeling so empowered, and it's just amazing that we can actually have that effect just by being ourselves and pursuing our
Yeah.
dreams. So yeah, I'm super grateful that you came on the show,
Oh,
JJ.
I'm
It's been
grateful you
phenomenal.
asked me to come on. I appreciate it.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah.
Definitely agreed.
It's
I
been
guess
nice to.
nope.
I was just saying it's been nice to get together and talk.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad we were able to make it happen. I guess I want to just, before we end, I want to make sure everybody gets any final questions out. So do you guys have any last questions for JJ?
Mm.
I see Rachel.
I just really want to say something instead of ask more questions. I just really want to say how much I appreciate your perspective and your thoughts and hearing from you. I mean, I think as somebody who's just starting out as an artist, just seeing somebody who's been through all of it and come out and like just found some sense of purpose through it and some sense of peace through it is very inspiring to me, and it's exactly what I aspire to be. So I just really, really admire you and really appreciate that you talked to us tonight.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Yeah,
Ramona.
everything she said, and I just simply wanted to say thank you for sharing your depths with us, because I felt like that's what you did.
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you. I try not to drone on too long or whatever, but
Not at
Oh
all.
yeah.
no, you did fantastic. Like honestly, I was enthralled by all your stories and experiences, so I didn't feel that way at all.
No,
Awesome.
actually, I
Thank
do
you.
have one more question, real
Sure.
quick. It's just one question. What's your favorite place that you've ever lived since you've lived in so many places?
Um, I would still say, oh my gosh, that's such a hard one for me, because
Sorry.
I was about to say Cape Cod, but then I was like, yeah, but New York.
Yeah.
Um, it's a tie between those two because, oh my gosh, well, I could say parts of my childhood in New Jersey too. I don't know. New York is just such an experience. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's different. It's different than Cape Cod and New Jersey and all that because that has the nature. So I don't know. Sorry.
I will say. It's a tie. I got it.
Wow, that's really cool. And I guess there's only one last question to ask then on this podcast, and that's JJ. Where can everybody out there find you?
You can find me on my website, which is rendeblancbrand.com, and Reine De Blanc on Instagram. I don't know. It's probably too much to go into, but the website pretty much has everything on there.
Okay.
Very cool. Yeah, we'll definitely be linking that in the episode description. So the website will be there, her social medias.
Thank you.
Everybody, JJ's amazing. So definitely be sure to go check out her stuff, check out her amazing jewelry, check out the blog. Maybe go buy some jewelry if you're jewelry people, because it's pretty unique and pretty awesome. Like, I'm even a fan of the way that she creates her jewelry, and I love the stone usage, how she uses her stones. Haven't seen any other artists do it quite like that. So
Thank you.
definitely a big fan of that. But yes, JJ is amazing. JJ, thank you again for being on the show. I'm going to make sure I hit the soundboard this time.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on and staying up late. I know it's getting late there.
Oh, hey,
Thank you.
we do this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
But yes, with the episode coming to the conclusion, again, I want to ask my co-host, do you guys have anything, any updates for our listeners out there or viewers?
Rachel, you can go first if you have anything.
Same as always, check out the first chapter of my novel. It's at elegantbomb.com. I'm finishing up the second draft, and hopefully I will have more information about when that goes to print soon, which will be within the next couple months. So we're getting real close. That's all I have to say. So I don't want to make any promises right now.
We're super excited for that.
I'm excited. I'll read it. I definitely want to read it.
Thank you. I hope you like it.
I will. I know I will.
Thanks.
Oh, yeah. And I know you have something, Lamona.
Good job. Good job.
I got it this time. I did it.
So I am the newest of our core 4 group with all of this content creation stuff. Never thought I'd do it, actually. Let's see. I have my first book in the works, which I'm super excited about. It is a collection of poems.
Oh,
I'm in talks with an artist about the cover, so that's where that is at currently. So I'll keep you posted with the progress with that. And then I'm also making more of a concerted effort to very slowly build some kind of online presence, I guess, with posting videos and such. So you can find me on, oh goodness, I changed my name as well, so it's Lamona Bonneray now. It was a little bit different before that, but I won't be changing it again. So I am on Instagram and TikTok, but I can't remember which one is which. One of them is Lamona Bonneray, and the other one is Lemon with Wings, which is like my
Instagram.
logo thingy. But yeah, one of those two. You can find me for sure both of those places.
very cool.
And don't you worry, audience members. You don't have to try to find it by the description. We'll have it in the link below. So, yes. I almost said her real name again. It's going to take some time. I mean, we unveiled it in the last episode with Frey, and I know Frey and I were really struggling with keeping on task with the name.
I like to keep everyone on their toes, and it's fun.
But we're going to get it. I did better this time than last time, so I'm proud of that. But yes, we will have that in the description. She has been doing a lot of work for content creation lately, so
Very cool.
yeah, it's going to be really fun. I've been helping her out with editing videos and whatnot, so
Awesome.
definitely be on the lookout for more Lamona Bonneray. And of course, and last but not least, there's me. And I don't have too much to update people on. Just issue 2 is actually arriving tomorrow. It'll be out by the time that, well, I'll have it in hand by the time the episode airs, but it comes in the mail tomorrow, which would be Wednesday. So I'm very excited. I'll probably do a live unboxing on my thing, but I don't know why I'm talking about this because this doesn't come out on Friday until Friday. So you probably just saw my live video. uh, but yes, I will be unboxing issue 2, and we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited
Awesome.
to have that coming out, and of course, my children's book is still being formatted, but that'll be coming out hopefully very soon
Wow.
too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all the updates I have. I mean, I might be going full
Very
time
cool.
into my own business thing soon, so stay tuned for news of that potentially. Who knows? I just want to throw it out there because I will be looking for opportunities, and I do events as number 2 pencil man, and workshops and motivational speeches. So if anybody's looking, this guy's gonna need some gigs. Uh, Shameless self promotion. But anyway, now we're at the end of the episode. Um, I'll get on to the promo stuff again. I know you heard me say it in the beginning of the episode, but if you guys like what we're doing, please consider dropping a like, interact with the video with like a comment, and feel free to subscribe. Any support helps us grow this platform so we can help introduce amazing indie creators like JJ to an even greater audience, help them get their work seen, or just introduce people to something new and cool. And that's what we ultimately want to do. We want to build a community of amazing indie creators, as well as try to help get them out more. And that is our main mission. So any help and support definitely helps get us there. So please consider supporting us. If you are an indie creator and you want to be on the podcast, it doesn't matter what kind of indie creator you are. You can make jewelry, you can be a clown, you can be a professional wrestler, you can be a doctor of psychology, you can have a small business, write comic books. The list goes on and on. Anything that you can do indie, anything that you can create, we are the podcast for you. So if you are an indie creator of any kind, want to be featured on the show, DM us. You can reach out to us at the Dreamscape Empyrean on Instagram, Facebook. You can email us at dreamscapeempyrean@gmail.com. And yeah, just reach out. And we'd love to have you on the show. We can coordinate a time and get you booked. So definitely check us out. And now we are at the end of the episode. So thank you guys once again for tuning in to Indie Synergy Exchange. And until the next episode, we shall see you there. Bye bye.